Hello there, and welcome back to this lesson on email management. This is quite an important topic because email can be a time drain and take valuable time away from being productive and organized. Email, unfortunately, is one of those necessary evils. There are both personal emails to action as well as work emails. So it's important to stay on top and organized when it comes to emails. This section is going to be dedicated towards email management, and I'm going to share with you some of my top techniques that I've found as a good way to really stay on track when it comes to email and make sure it doesn't take too much valuable time away from your day. So in this section, we're going to be learning about the 5-minute email rule. This is just a very quick and easy way to handle emails. We're also going to be learning about the 4 Ds of email management. This is just a great way to categorize your emails into 4 different categories. And also there's going to be a lesson on batching emails, my technique for batching them. And lastly, you're going to have a look at my Gmail priority star inbox method, which is just a great way to filter emails and make sure that you're focusing on the important emails, and those emails are appearing at the top of your inbox. So there's a lot to cover in this section, and it's going to be a great one. And I can't wait to share all of these techniques with you and just help you to be more productive when it comes to email. That's it for this lesson. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hi, welcome back. This is a lesson on the 5-minute email rule, which is a simple and quick way to ensure that all of your emails are kept to the minimum amount possible. So why 5 minutes? Well, 5 minutes is a great and ideal amount of time to get your message across. It's also respectful of the recipient's time because they would only need to take 5 minutes to read that email. If you feel that you can't fit in all of the information in the 5-minute time frame for an email, perhaps then consider scheduling a call or setting up a meeting with that person to go into a bit more depth. So now that we're trying to keep to 5 minutes, a good way to ensure this is to install a browser extension or simply just use the timer function on your phone and set the timer for 5 minutes. This is not to say that for every email you send out, you're going to be setting a timer, because that's just impractical and it would be wasting more time. However, do it for a few, maybe even a few sessions, just so that you can develop that internal clock of how long 3 to 5 minutes is to type out an email. Once you have that internal clock, you're able to accurately gauge how long it's taking to write an email. Then also, if an email requires more detail, consider using a different file format or a different method. By that I mean, it might serve better as a screencast where you're recording your screen and you're showing a concept or doing some training or showing the person actually what is happening on your screen instead of trying to explain it via email. This can also be really good with audio messages, voice notes, that sort of thing. Sometimes just explaining a process is much quicker than typing it out. So in summary, that is how the 5-minute email technique works. It's a simple and quick way to just keep in the back of your mind the amount of time you're spending on emails, because this is good for both your own productivity and it's respectful of the email recipient's time as well, so they don't have to spend large amounts of time reading these emails. So it has benefits all round. And you'll start to see that the amount of time you're spending on emails, because you set a timer, and once you have that timer set, you'll be amazed at how your brain just engages and starts to really come together and get the message out and explain what is needed in that email. So it's just a great way to squeeze out some more productivity, and it's one of my top tips. So I hope you can find that useful, and I'd love for you to give it a try with your next email session. And that's it for this lesson. I'm going to see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hi there. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at the 4 Ds of email management. This is a super effective way to categorize your emails and make sure that you can breeze through them in the shortest amount of time. The 4 Ds works in a way that you categorize them into emails that you do, emails that you defer, emails that you delegate or automate, and emails that you delete. So as you're seeing here on the screenshots, they are divided into a quadrant, and each of those quadrants has its own priority. So the first quadrant is the do emails. These are both important and urgent. In the second quadrant, you have the important but not urgent. Those are the emails that you should defer or schedule. In the third quadrant, you have the not important but urgent. These are the emails that you might be able to delegate or automate. And then lastly, in the fourth quadrant, you see the delete emails, which are not urgent and not important. Looking at the first quadrant, the do emails, these are emails that should be responded to right away. If an email can be responded to quickly, within 3 to 5 minutes, it should be done straight away. This ensures that you stay on top of them, and it just helps to keep your inbox clean and clear. Examples of those emails would be starred emails and your MITs. We're going to be learning about the starred emails in my priority inbox method in the next lessons. You can also keep it for tasks such as business development, any deadline driven emails, people that are reliant on you to get something done, urgent, unexpected, important daily tasks. So those are absolute must do, immediately kind of drop everything else type of emails and get them done. In the defer category, these are emails that maybe require a bit more thought and planning, things like learning and reading, notifications and updates. So these are emails that you would defer for later once you are ready to handle them. The third category is delegate or automate. These are emails that might be better handled by somebody else. This would then allow you to offload those emails and tasks to somebody better suited, and that frees up your time to get on with more important tasks. So examples would include assigning tasks to team members or forwarding information requests to the relevant departments. And also things like follow-ups and lead generation, research for projects, repetitive emails. So these are really, really good ones for automation. If you're getting a lot of repeat emails, those are prime candidates for automating. So see how they can be automated, because each time they come through, that's going to remove the need for you to handle them, and it's going to free up your time. Then the last category is delete. So these are just emails that are not important for you. They could be spam, and of course if they're spam, you want to be unsubscribing or filtering those out. And all of these emails will just take time away from being productive and just clutter up your inbox as well. And when that happens, it might mean that you could miss important emails, especially if you are allocating a fixed amount of time to handle your emails. If there's unwanted emails in there, they're going to get mixed in with all of the others, and it could take longer to actually organize all of them. So that concludes the lesson on the 4Ds of email management. This is just a way to categorize your emails, and as you're handling all of your emails, these are the categories that you should be thinking about as you go through them. Do I defer it? Do I do it immediately? Do I delegate? Or do I delete? As you practice this technique more and more, a lot of them will become second nature, and you'll be able to really, before even going into the email, you'll be able to know which of these categories it falls into. This is the lesson on 4Ds of email management. I'd love for you to try this technique in your next email session and just see how it can help you. Practice makes perfect. Aside from that, I will see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Welcome to this lesson on batching emails. We're going to be looking at 3 different types of batching techniques. Batching emails is a powerful technique to ensure that all of your emails are put into similar categories and they are contextually relevant to each other. This just helps with that cognitive switching penalty that we discussed in an earlier lesson, and just keeps your mind sort of focused on a set category of emails. The 3 batching methods we're going to be looking at is labels, it is priority, and it is time. So if we look at the first one, which is labels, this is just a system where you create the labels that are relevant to you. They could be things like work or personal or finance or projects or marketing, any number of labels that are relevant to you that you would want to use to be able to categorize your emails. Once you have all of these labels set up, you can create filters in your email program to be able to ensure that the correct labels are applied, as well as maybe adding priority flags to some of these emails. So this would mean that you have an inbox that is categorized into the labels that you have set, and from there you're able to know the priorities of the emails, and you would start from the most important ones first. The next one is batching by time. This is a very simple method of just starting from the top and working your way down. All the emails are given an equal weighting and priority. This is one method of doing it. It ensures that everything is done. However, the equal weighting and the equal priority, it's not as efficient as it could be. And what can happen is that if you will give yourself a limited amount of time to deal with emails, those that are less important might be attended to before those that are a priority and are important. So if you are looking to do the time method of batching emails, take it one step further and at least star the emails or prioritize the emails by adding a label or a color or any kind of indicator to make sure that those important ones are bumped to the top of the list, so that if in that time frame you're not able to get through all of the emails, at least you will have covered all of the important and valuable ones. The next batch method is priority, and this is a particularly good one in Gmail, as you're able to set your inbox style and layout to the priority inbox. And that just helps you to separate them into sections. This becomes super powerful when you have starred emails as well as filters on your Gmail inbox, because then you can really start to put the emails into the correct section. So examples of that would be sections for important and unread, starred, and everything else. But in the next lesson, we're going to look at the priority method that I've come up with, where you would use different labels and you would have those set up so that you can work from the top down to ensure that you're getting to the most important tasks and emails as they are appearing at the top. So how do I use email batching? I typically use my inbox method, which we're going to discuss in the next lesson. But every 2 hours, I will set around 30 minutes to handle emails. And because of the priority inbox that I've set up, all of the important emails are always pushed to the top. So during that time frame, I'm always dealing with the most important emails. And that ensures that none of the important stuff slips through the cracks. Sometimes there's not enough time in that 30-minute window, and those emails then carry over to the next session. That is perfectly normal, but within a day, I should get between 3 to 4 email sessions and cover all of the most important emails. And of course, during each session, I am using the 4Ds email management technique. So I'm having a look to see whether I need to do them now, I need to defer, I need to delegate, or I simply need to delete. So that's why by combining all of these methods and having a hybrid system is a really effective way to manage your emails. But I'm super excited to show you my priority inbox star method in the next lesson, and you'll be able to see just how you can take the standard priority inbox in Gmail and just give it a bit more oomph and help you to be more productive and stay on top of your emails. But for this lesson, that's it, and I'm going to see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Welcome back to this lesson on the priority star method. This is just a way that I've found to most effectively organize and categorize priority emails. And it is just a way to ensure that you're getting to your most important emails and your priority emails before any of the others. So before we dive into the setup and the configuration in the next lesson and video, I'd like to give you an overview of how it works and what to expect, and just to give you some insights on what this method is about. In the next video is where I break it all down and we walk through step by step to see all of the settings, all of the configurations, all of the different aspects of this method, and you're able to see step by step how it works so that you too can master your emails using this method. Let's look at some preliminary steps so you have an idea of what to expect. So the most important task is to set it up and configure it. So this is where we're going to set up the different sections and the filters. So we're displaying the important sections first, and then also the filters will ensure that the emails are put into those sections. As we can see from the screenshot, using the priority inbox type is where you get access to these different settings. So the inbox sections can then be defined by yourself. So in this example, I have the starred section first, then it's the important, then there is the custom label. This would be your high priority, most important label that you would add. For me, it was a payment label, which I've called all finances, pay as soon as possible. But for you, it could be different. It could be project related or marketing. It's just up to you what you want that most important label to be. And then lastly is the everything else section. That's where all the other emails will live. Then looking at the starred emails, this is where you can manually star the emails. This is particularly handy if you're on the go, on the move, and you're using your app to be able to star emails. Then when you sit down again, you can see those emails appearing. It just helps you to really stay organized while on the go. Then processing the emails, it's as simple as taking a top-down approach. Because all of the most important emails are at the top, that is where you start, and you would aim to complete maybe 3 to 5 per day, or if it's more project based, then 3 to 5 emails per week might be more realistic. Then lastly, it's important to stay focused, because the temptation to look at other emails might be great, but if you're focused and you stick to the starred emails and work your way down, that's going to ensure you get to the most important stuff first. And that's going to drive the biggest results for you and help you to stay organized, and you're not going to let email take away your valuable productivity time. So this is the gist of how it all works. In the next lesson and video, we're going to dive into it. I'm going to walk you through all of the settings, and you're going to be able to see just how it's pieced together and how you can apply the same settings and use this in your workflow to achieve inbox bliss and stay productive and not fall behind each day. That's it for this lesson. We're going to dive into the priority star method in the next lesson. So I will see you there. Goodbye. This is the priority star method, which I use inside of Gmail just to make sure that I am the most effective and most productive when dealing with emails. Emails are one of those things that we can't get away from. They're here to stay, unfortunately, but there are ways to be more efficient and to deal with them in a more effective manner. So in this lesson, we're going to dive into the settings and the filters that will help you just be more productive and manage email more efficiently. You might have opened up your email inbox and you just see a flood of emails that have come through. You randomly skim through them and maybe start with the first one that seems important. If this sounds familiar, it is one way of doing it, yes, but there's a much more effective way. And in this lesson, we're going to dive into the settings and the filters that are going to allow you to do it more effectively and save time at the same time, which is the goal here. So let's get into it and let's make you more productive. So here is the Gmail inbox. This is how it would look once you've set up all of the settings, which we're going to go through now. So this is just to give you an overview of what my inbox looks like. So coming to the settings icon, we see the quick settings, and we're going to get to that in a second. But let's just walk through the other settings. So chat and meet, if you use chat and meet inside of Gmail, that's where you would customize it here. Density, dependent on your eyesight or any other sort of issues, going the most compact is the best route. I mean, we can see here how it just really compacts things and makes it a lot more effective to view. The inbox type, so this is a key setting here. We are going to be using the priority inbox, and we're going to be customizing that in a second. The reading pane, no splits is normally the default setting I have, but you are able to use a reading pane. I sometimes use it actually when I need to get through a whole batch of emails and you need to quickly, one by one, have a look and see what the content is, reply to emails, that sort of thing. I generally use it for the everything else emails that you see here, but by default, I keep it to the no split. Email threading, this is another key setting. You want to be able to view emails in a conversation view. Otherwise, every new email that is coming through from that conversation is going to be sent as a separate email. So the conversation view just groups everything. It stacks them nicely above one another, and you're able to see that full message thread. So let's get into the settings. All of these ones that we're starting off with here, they are personalized to yourself, how you want them. Nothing too fancy to look at there. The undo send, it's always good to have this set to 10 or 20 seconds. This gives you some time to undo an email if it's sent, and just prevents those awkward emails where you might have to send a follow-up. Hover actions, always good to have this. It just enables you to see the actions at a glance when hovering over emails. Send an archive, that is to your preference, however you like it. Default text style, I stick with the standard there. Images, always display. That's just to have media-rich emails. Some emails need those images to be able to see the context, so that's always good. Dynamic emails, this should be enabled. Now, a dynamic email are those emails that you receive from, for example, from other Gmail and Google applications. So if you have a comment on a Google document or a Google spreadsheet, you're able to add the comment in Gmail without leaving Gmail to go and add the comment. So it's just a handy way to save a little bit of time. Grammar, always good to have that on. Same for spelling. Auto advance, so this is quite handy with that split pane method. Once you've replied to an email, you've sent the email, instead of jumping back to the inbox, it's going to go to the next email or the next conversation as well, depending on what sits below it. Autocorrect, you want to have that on. It's always good. Writing suggestions, always good. Personalization on. Conversation view on. We've already discussed that. Nudges, this is generally good until maybe Google gets a bit annoying, but always good to have it on. Smart reply, definitely. It will then suggest names and other greetings, things like that. So it's good to have, and can make things a bit quicker to respond. Mark conversation as read after 3 seconds. That's to your preference. Turn on smart features and personalization, always good. Same thing with other products. Turn on package tracking. This is actually quite good to have. Google will have that dynamic packaging information whenever it detects an email that is related to tracking a package. Desktop notifications, this is as you want it. I've set this to off because there are periods where I batch emails and I generally don't need to be notified while I'm working in other applications. So stars, this is where you're able to add stars and other icons. This is up to you how many you'd like to add and how many colors you'd like to have. But for my method, I use 3 stars, and these represent yellow star as the review star. So this is the default star, and it allows me to add emails there which are maybe reports, so something like traffic analytics that have come through for my websites, or Looker Studio reports, things like that. And it also is the default star status. So if you need to have automations to add stars to your emails, they would use that star, and you could then manually review them to decide if it needs to be a blue star or a red star. So the blue star is a task that is a MIT, which is the most important task. And the red star is for something that is urgent, so that would take priority over everything else, and that should be done first. You could also use some of the other stars and icons here to kind of adapt the system and develop your own way of dealing with these emails. Keyboard shortcuts, that should be on as well. It's really handy to be able to use the C key to compose a new email, use the R key to reply to an email, things like that. Just make it very helpful. Button labels, icons, or text, however you prefer. Create contacts. This can be handy. And then email signatures, that's as you like it. Personal level indicators, yes. Show indicators we do want, because that way we're able to see when it's sent directly to us and not sent as a CC'd email or anything like that. We're then able to at a glance know if it is sent to us directly. Show snippets, these are good, so you can have that little snippet of text to be able to see what the email is about. And that's it for the general settings. Right, so next we're going to move on to the priority inbox. So the default is what you will get Gmail set at right out the box. We want to change that to the priority inbox. Once you've done that, you're able to see all of these different options. You have 4 inbox sections. The first one I'd recommend as the starred section, where this is going to show all of your starred items. Then we have a custom label section. So this could be any custom label that is important to you. I've set this to a payments label so that any payments I need to make, they are going to appear there first. The important and unread, that then becomes everything else that isn't labeled payments or is not labeled star with stars. And then everything else is everything else that doesn't fit into these other 3 categories. So the whole concept here is to get your most important emails right up at the top. That's kind of the objective here. Because starred emails, you manually set yourself. So they are emails where Gmail doesn't do anything with them. Only you add the star label, so it means that it is manually added by you, and those then become at the top of the list. And sometimes I will even just collapse all of these other sections. Let me just show you quickly. I would collapse all of these other sections and just work on these starred emails until those were finished. Once those are finished, open everything up again and then start from the top down. So the idea is to have the more important priority emails at the top and then just work your way down. Another thing to mention is try to keep 3 to 5 emails in the starred section. If there's too many that are being added there, it will seem a bit cluttered and it might not be as effective as you'd like it. So once you have those 3 sections all set up, then with the everything else section, you would then use the 4 Ds of time management. So you would do delegate, defer, and delete all of those emails. And by following those 4 Ds, you're able to get through them a lot quicker. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna set up a filter to create these starred emails. So coming in here, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either come into the settings, filters, and blocked addresses section and create a new filter, or simply click on the options icon over here to get to the same window. So I'd like to set up a filter that is going to look at all of the emails from my accountant. I want to make sure that the emails have certain phrases and certain text in them to trigger the filter, and it also should be having an attachment. So these are emails that are going to be coming through that I need to make a payment for. So in the from field, of course that would be the email address, who it's sent to. In this case it'll be me by default. The subject If you know the subject of the emails and they're consistently the same subject, then you would add that. For here, I would add something like payment. And you can use operators like or to have multiple keywords. So payment or VAT or invoice. Doesn't have, so this is where you would add any keywords that you wouldn't want to be included. And I want to say has an attachment. So to test this filter to see what it would bring up, we can do a search, and this would then search your entire inbox to be able to see what would come up. If everything looks as it should and it's picking up the correct keywords, you can then say create filter, and this is where you get all of the filter options. So if you wanted to skip the inbox and archive it, definitely not what we want to do here, nor do we want to mark it as read, but yes, we do want to star it. So we're going to star it, and then any of these other settings, like if you have to forward it, or if you want to send a template, which is quite handy. If you have templates set up, it will automatically send those template emails to them. If you want to always mark it as important, you can always add that. You can also choose categories that you'd like to apply to it. So then what we would do then is create the filter. So that's it. Every time that email comes in with those criteria, it's going to add it to the starred section. And you're able to snooze emails as well. So if there is a snoozed email and it's starred as well, it's only going to appear on the snooze date when that comes up. So that's just another great way to use the starred section. You can then have snoozed emails and it's not going to fill up your starred section. So this one I do know has been snoozed. So this is what it would look like here. And when that comes up for the 30th of July, it will appear in the starred section and I'll know that it is due for payment. Well, that is the priority star method in a nutshell. It's quite simple in its design, but the goal and objective for it is to make sure that your priority emails are at the top of your inbox, so they become top of your list. You're then able to discern which of the emails in the starred section is the most important. So like we said, the yellow email, that's the default status, so it's kind of the standard. We then have the blue status, which is for tasks that you need to carry out, and then the red star status is for very urgent emails that need to be attended to as a priority. So with that simple method, you're able to quickly at a glance know what needs to be done. Then we also touched on how to create and use filters. So we were able to set up a filter so that when the emails come through, they are automatically categorized for us. That's an important part of just making sure none of these emails slip through the cracks. Then for all of the other emails, it's a good idea to use the 4 Ds of time management. So we would do, defer, delete, or delegate. And that's how you would handle everything else in your inbox. And that pretty much sums it up. So I hope you were able to learn a couple of tips and see how I manage my emails. I found this to be not just the most simple way. These type of things, they shouldn't be too complex. It should be easy to carry out. And I think this is such a method, but I urge you to improve on it or personalize it or adjust it for your workflow, because it's something that can really help you manage your emails a lot effectively. Because emails are one of those things that can just sap your time if you allow it to. And you don't have to lose time with emails. And this is just one way of showing you how you can gain some time back through effective email management. So that's it for this lesson, and I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye. Now that you've mastered the essentials, you're already well on your way to working smarter, not harder. But what if you could take your productivity to the next level? What if you could unlock an additional 5 hours per week using the most effective strategies, tools, and techniques available? I'd like to introduce you to my full course, Time Management Hacks: Unlock 5 hours of extra productivity. You'll learn how to structure your day for maximum impact using methods like the 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, and also time blocking methods. You're going to learn about advanced email management, how to get your email to inbox 0 at the end of the day. I also teach you how to leverage cutting-edge AI tools. You're going to learn how to squeeze the most out of ChatGPT and Gemini. Plus, we're going to dive into some task management tools and see how I use them and how you can squeeze the most out of them. One of my favorites is the tool called ClickUp, and you're going to see just how to use the more advanced features to get the most out of your task list. We're also going to have a look at Phrase Express, which is an incredibly useful text expander, and this one is going to be sure to save you plenty of time, up to 2 to 3 hours per week right off the bat. And that is one of my favorite tools. So if you're ready to take your productivity to the next level, as well as learn to use AI effectively and more productively, then sign up for the course today, and let's take your productivity to the next level and unlock that 5 hour advantage.